Each day we have anywhere from 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts. And 80% of these thoughts are negative. It's not surprising that so many people, as a result, are stuck. And the reason is your mindset plays a key role in whether or not you move forward in life. In this video, I want to talk about your mindset as well as two other things that could be keeping you stuck. And I want to make this video because a common theme I see with clients that I work with as a career and executive advisor is being stuck. And I've identified what keeps people in this paralyzed state where they don't know what to do, or maybe they do know what to do, but they just don't want to do it. Reason number one, you may be stuck. Internal trash talking is running the show. This means that you have this constant loop of negative self-talk. And this is important to be aware of because your thoughts determine your reality. And you may be thinking, well, Colleen, that's a bit abstract. Can you break it down? Let's make this more concrete. Yes, I got you. I'm going to share the B-FAR formula. And this stands for B, your beliefs about yourself and the world. F, your feelings about yourself based on those beliefs. A, the action or inaction you take based on your beliefs and your feelings. And then finally, R is the result. As an example, a number of years ago, I worked with a coaching client named John. And he came to me because he was at a crossroads in his career. And he was deciding what to do next. What John shared with me is that he had a vision for a business. I asked John, do you have a business plan? Yes, typed up, detailed business plan. He knew the packages that he was going to offer. He had an idea for scaling his business. What John said surprised me. He decided to shelve his business idea. And I'm like, John, what? How come? Because inside I'm thinking, John has the vision. He has the strategy. He has the tactical steps he's going to take. He has the smarts. He has the drive. I'm like, what am I missing here? And John said, I know I'm going to fail, so I'm not even going to try. And this is a perfect example of B-FAR. John had a belief that he was going to fail, which led to his feelings of insecurity not being enough, which led to inaction. Final result, he shelved his business idea. Luckily, John and I were able to resurrect his business. And what really helped was to work on John's mindset and to understand where the fear of failure came from and how we could help John embrace confidence in order to start taking small steps to launching his business in a way that felt safe and comfortable for him. And I think for many watching, you can relate. You likely have a dream that you want to go after. There's something that you want to do in your life, but you're stuck. And it's really important to understand how internal trash talking is dictating your life and what you can do to start reframing how you view yourself, your world, and your ability to go out and achieve what you would like. Second reason you may be stuck is you are choosing escapism over expansion. You likely have heard the term escapism. What does it mean exactly? It means that you are checking out emotionally or mentally in order to avoid dealing with reality. Escapism can take the form of watching Netflix, like hours and hours per day. And by the way, nothing wrong with watching Netflix. I'm currently rewatching Grey's Anatomy, but I have to be mindful that I'm not spending all Saturday and Sunday like in front of the TV. Second, you could be scrolling on social media and you end up doom scrolling by hour 5. You could be gambling, wasting a lot of money. You could be drinking, using drugs, whatever it may be. And by the way, a lot of us, we escape to a certain extent. And I think there's nothing wrong if it's for 30, 60 minutes a day, a few hours on the weekend. But if we find that our whole life is all about escapism, that's a problem. I'm going to share an example from a guy I met named Matt. A few weeks ago, I was having a conversation with Matt, and he said, I have wasted the last 4 years of my life. I'm like, dude, what have you been doing? He said, I've been playing video games. I'm like, okay. I'm like, tell me more about playing video games. What is this doing for you? And he's like, well, I like video games. I'm like, yeah, I get it. But he was aware that he was escaping by playing video games every night after work and almost all day on the weekends. And I asked Matt, I'm like, what are you escaping from? And he said, I don't want to deal with my relationship that is not working. He said, I'm terrified of breaking up with my girlfriend because I don't want to be alone. I know the relationship needs to end, but I'm not taking action. 2, he said, I want to make a career pivot and I'm really scared I won't be successful. So I'm not doing anything. I'm staying in this dead-end job. And the story of Matt is one that we can all relate to. Whether or not you're playing video games, you can insert your form of escapism. I think a lot of people can relate to a fear of being alone and on your own, not knowing if you'll meet another partner. This fear of making a change in your career and not having a guarantee that you'll be successful. What I recommend is looking at the hours in your day and breaking it down to understand how many hours are you spending escaping when you could be learning a new skill. You could be starting a new relationship. You could be taking that one step towards launching your business. Reason number 3, you may be stuck, is you're complaining instead of changing what is in your control. An easy way to remember this are the 3 C's. Are you changing what's in your control, or are you just complaining and you're in this woe is me? Life is out to get me. Everyone has it against me. And I will say a number of years ago, I was working in the tech industry and I wasn't getting promoted. And I definitely was in woe is me mode. I blame my manager for not providing enough support, in the form of coaching and mentoring to help me get promoted. I blame their performance review system. I blame my colleagues. I'm like, they're doing less work and they're still getting promoted. And then finally, I had to look in the mirror and realize that I had to be the heroine of my own career story. I had to figure out why I wasn't getting promoted and do everything in my power to change the situation. And so what I did was I observed colleagues who were really excelling at the company I was at. And I noticed 3 things that they were doing differently or better than I was. Number 1, they exuded more executive presence. They were coming across as in command of the material they presented. They were confident in their abilities and they were concise in their communication. Number 2, my colleagues were building relationships with senior leaders who then could go advocate for them and recommend them for a promotion. Third, my colleagues were taking on high impact work that aligned with the company's priorities. Once I started working on these 3 areas, and by the way, it took me a year, I got promoted. And I would have to say, once I made that shift from, blaming everything externally and moving into more of an empowered state where I felt I had more agency over the future of my career and whether or not I got promoted, it made such a difference in my motivation, in my energy, just how I showed up at work. And so for you, I think about, are you doing more complaining than really looking at the different areas of your life where you can start taking action? And it even could be looking internally first, figuring out, okay, like how can you get your mind straight? And then going out and making those changes. To end, I want to share 3 ways for you to get unstuck. And essentially, I'm just flipping the script from what I previously shared about the ways people remain stuck. So number 1, you're going to stop the internal trash talking, or at least turn down the volume. And you may be thinking, well, okay, how do I do that? Yeah, fair enough. You want to befriend your mind. In our highly distracted world, it's very rare for us to take time to analyze our mind, to be in silence, to journal the different thoughts that are coming up, to meditate. As someone who has meditated for 10 years, I can't believe the stories that I tell myself. I'm like, this is BS. Like, what? Why would I talk to myself like this? And so it's really important you're able to have awareness about your thoughts, especially these reoccurring thoughts that are really limiting the life that you're currently leading. Second, you want to choose more expansive behavior versus escaping. And in the case of Matt, wasting 4 years of your life. This could look like every day you block your calendar for 30 minutes. And this could be expansive time for you. This could mean on the weekends, you have a block of time where you're doing something that is really nourishing you personally and enriching your life as a whole. And then finally, third, you want to be deliberate in what you can do to change your destiny. Because as someone who has complained, I shared previously, it can be so easy. It can be so easy to sit there and be like, oh, I can't believe this happened and that happened and that. It's like, no, like put on your hero or heroine cape and go out there, start to soar. I want to thank you all for taking time to watch this video. More importantly, I want to hear from you. What is one thing that you are going to do to get unstuck in your life and move forward? If my content resonates with you, please like, subscribe. I would feel so honored to have you a part of my community. Until next time, thanks everyone.